Well, to shed more light, our Nile TV's correspondent from the headquarters of the National Election Authority, Ahmed Nader, over the phone. Ahmed? Ahmed?
Yes, Emil, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, Ahmed, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Hello, Ahmed. Ahmed, the executive manager of the National Election Authority held a press conference during which he gave us the latest updates concerning the expatriate voting outside Egypt in foreign countries, and he spoke via video conference with several ambassadors from all over the world, worldwide, who witnessed the electoral process in the Egyptian embassies.
Yes, Emil, as you mentioned that there is a central operations room, and I'm right now within this central operations room, as we did see the press conference held by Councillor Ahmed Binderi, the head of the Executive Committee of the National Elections Authority, and we had some statements by him yesterday covered by Nile TV International in my feeds for yesterday, but for today we have seen the press conference between Councillor Binderi and different ambassadors from different parts of the world, 136 polling stations in different countries, and more specifically 117 countries. We have seen the press conference, it was focusing mainly on Europe and Africa, because the conference, it was taking place within the break hour for most of the countries between 3 and 4 p.m. Due to respective time zones in different countries. We have seen Councillor Binderi speaking to Ambassador Ahmed Diya-Uddin, for example, Ambassador Ayman Abu Zaid in Hungary from Budapest, and he said that the polling stations, they opened at 9 a.m. according to the local time in Budapest or in Hungary, and it will be opened until 9 p.m. and there was a break from 3 till 4 p.m. He said that there is coordination between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the National Elections Authority, something that we have highlighted during the previous feeds from the National Elections Authority headquarters here from downtown Cairo on Thursday. We have seen as well a virtual meeting between Ambassador Ahmed Abdulatif from Rabat in Morocco and of course Councillor Ahmed El Binderi. Ambassador Abdulatif, he highlighted the facilitations that we have seen, and the facilitations by the National Elections Authority, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and of course the officials in Morocco as well, to be facilitating the procedures of voting for the Egyptian expatriates for the Senate elections that are currently taking place in 117 countries for the 1st and the 2nd of August on Friday and Saturday. We have seen some virtual meetings as well between Councillor Binderi and Ambassador Nermeen Al-Zawahri and Ambassador Mayed Isam from Zambia or Lusaka, and they were speaking during the break hour from 3 to 4 p.m. Zambian local time, where she highlighted the importance of the security and the safety and the logistical services that were provided by the National Elections Authority to the embassy in Zambia or to the embassy in Lusaka, to be having more facilitations, to be provided with more facilitations for the Egyptian expatriates and the voters to be easily voting, coming in and out, and during the few minutes that they are spending casting their ballots at the embassy of Zambia. And she highlighted that there was a meeting and coordination, but there was coordination between the embassy in Zambia and the National Elections Authority from 12 a.m. until 6 a.m. earlier on in the morning for Friday, and this highlights the efforts that are being exerted by the National Elections Authority and different embassies from all over the world, and that there is coordination between the National Elections Authority and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And she also highlighted Ambassador Mayeda Assam Abdurrahman. She highlighted the meeting that took place before the elections, the coordinations that took place and the preparations that took place before the elections, before the Senate elections, between the National Elections Authority and the embassy in Zambia. We also have seen another virtual meeting between Councillor Ahmed Benderi and the ambassador from Rwanda, and more specifically from Kigali, Ambassador Nermeen of Zawahri, as she highlighted the constant meeting for the operation room, or the central operation room that you have mentioned, Amal, before in your question, that the meeting is usually in constant mode for Councillor El-Binderi or Councillor Binderi and Ambassador Nabil Habashi, that we have interviewed, or I have interviewed right here from the Central Operations Room early on in the morning, I think at 1 a.m. in the morning, highlighting the efforts between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the National Elections Authority. And we also have seen another virtual meeting between Councillor Ahmed Benderi and Ambassador Mohammed Miki from Bern, from Switzerland, one European country, as he thanked the National Elections Authority, and he mentioned that work was as usual from 9 a.m. and until 3 p.m. in the afternoon in Switzerland. But there was, of course, the break hour, and he thanked the National Elections Authority for providing the databases and for the system that they were provided with at the embassy, to be making it easier, to be facilitating the procedure of going into the embassy, to be casting the ballots for the expatriates and going out as soon as possible. And Ambassador Miki also thanked Ambassador Nabil Habashi, the Deputy Foreign Minister, for his efforts, as we mentioned before. Amal.
Yes, Ahmed, also during the conference that was held by the Executive Manager of the National Election Authority, Councillor Ahmed Benderi, and he was speaking to the ambassadors abroad by turn, Ambassador Riham Khalil from Bahrain, Omar Sherbini from Doha, Ambassador Walid Haggat from Sarajevo, as you mentioned, from France, from Paris, yes. Ala Youssef, Ahmed Abu Zaid from Belgium, Ahmed Shaheen from Budapest, Ahmed Abdel Latif in Morocco, as you've just mentioned, in Rabat Company yes. Committee, I apologize. Zambia, Ambassador Mayeda Assam, Mohammed Nigm, Ambassador from Switzerland, many other also, but let me stop at one point, that all the ambassadors who spoke to the Chancellor Ahmed El-Benderi said that they did not have any complaints of any kind. The electoral process is going on very smoothly, and there's not any violations or breaches of any kind, and that it's only minutes and the Egyptian citizen finishes voting. Ahmed?
Yes, exactly, Amal, as you mentioned, that they have spoken to at least 20 ambassadors and consulars from different countries, from 117 countries. We have seen at least between 20 and 30 different officials, different ambassadors from different countries of the world. And the virtual meeting that took place during the press conference by Councillor Ahmed Benderi, the executive head, or the head of the executive committee of the National Elections Authority, as we have seen at 4 p.m. But the break hour was at 3 p.m. in different parts of the world. He mentioned that there were no violations, but a number of ambassadors, a number of officials, they stated that thanks to the central operations room that I am in right now, it is easier to be operating. It is easier to be following what is happening, if there are any problems, if there are any procedures that need more facilitations. And as I have said, and as you mentioned, a number of ambassadors, we have seen Ambassador Selwa Khafagi, for example, from Harare, Zimbabwe. She said that the security is at its utmost performances, safety as well for the Egyptian expatriates to be going in and out and to be casting their ballots as easily as possible, as safely, as swiftly as possible. And she thanked the National Elections Authority and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the officials from Zimbabwe as well, and the officials from different African countries to be facilitating the procedures. The ambassadors from Holland and Malawi, for example, they thanked the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and they all mentioned, as you said, that work started, or the elections for the Senate, it started at 9 a.m. It will be lasting until 9 p.m. There is a breaking out from 3 p.m. till 4 p.m. and it only takes minutes to vote by the Egyptian expatriates. Ambassador, for example, Ambassador Muhammad al-Sharif from Malawi, he thanked the National Elections Authority for the Senate elections, and he thanked the officials in Malawi as well as the officials, as I mentioned, in Zimbabwe, for example. And that one important statistic mentioned and highlighted by Councillor Binderi is that the voters in Malawi voted in 6 different constituencies, which means that they have voted in 6 different governorates. It will be equivalent to that. As you mentioned, Ambassador Manal Abdeldayim, she always said that it is a working day, which is something that we all know about from countries other than Egypt. Friday could be a working day in different countries, especially in Africa, especially in Europe. Ambassador Manal Abdeldayim, she said that this is a working day, and we are expecting more and more voters, a bigger turnout to be witnessed later on in the day. And the ambassador of Egypt in Mozambique as well, Amal, he thanked the National Elections Authority and wished for more success. And it was one statistic highlighted by Councillor Binderi that they have voted in 10 different constituencies, and they have solved any possible problems facing the voters or the Egyptian expatriates in Mozambique.
Yes, Ahmed, it seems, as you've just mentioned, that in the African countries, the ambassadors said that the voters have casted their ballots in 6 governorates, and other African countries in 10 governorates. So this is considered a high turnout, of course. Concerning concerning Ambassador Mu'taz Abdelkader, the ambassador, Egyptian ambassador to South Sudan, in Toba committee, he said that because there is a curfew at 6 p.m. They are going to close the committee. They took permission to close the committee
at 5.
At 5, yes. So give us an idea about this, please. Yes.
Yes, as you mentioned, we have seen the virtual meeting and the press conference that was taking place at 4 p.m. Cairo local time by the Councillor Ahmed Binderi, the head of the Executive Committee of the National Elections Authority. One virtual meeting, as you mentioned, with Ambassador Mu'taz Abdelkader from South Sudan. He thanked the officials from South Sudan for the safety, for the security of the Egyptian expatriates, for the potential voters to be going, I think, in Juba, to be casting their ballots, to be participating in the elections for the Senate. But he said that we will be expecting more turnout in the rest of the day, albeit that the operation in South Sudan, it started at 9 a.m. as usual, no problems, no violations, but it will be ending at 5 p.m. I think it has ended already 15 minutes ago, if we have the same time zone as in South Sudan, because there is a curfew, which is something out of our hands, and of course it is not controlled by the National Elections Authority, nor... Yes?
Ahmed, also most of the ambassadors have thanked the head of the executive manager and the head of the National Election Authority and Councillor Ahmed al-Bindari, and also, as you've just mentioned, they have thanked the Ambassador Nabil Habashi, the Vice President of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Expatriate Affairs. If you would like to shed more light on this, please.
Yes, Amal, we have interviewed Ambassador Nabil Habashi yesterday, or maybe early on in the early hours of Friday at 1 a.m. Cairo local time, right here as I am standing. Ambassador Nabil Habashi, the Deputy Foreign Minister, who was right next to me, and he spoke about the importance of the participation for the Egyptians, for the Egyptian expatriates in general, to be participating in the Senate elections, and more specifically for the youth, for the women, and of course it is of utmost importance because we have seen one statistic yesterday by Councillor Ahmed al-Bindari stating that the official application for the National Elections Authority, it was downloaded 80,000 times, but the age bracket that was downloading this application, it was focused between 18 and 25 years of age. This means that there will be a lot of participation by the youth of Egypt, outside of Egypt, inside of Egypt on the 4th and the 5th of August, and maybe on Monday and Tuesday. Today is Friday, and the next day will be on the 2nd of August for the Egyptian expatriates. So the efforts of Ambassador Nabil Habashi and Councillor Ahmed al-Bindari, they were also highlighted, as you mentioned, by Ambassador Wael Lutfi from Namibia. For example, the Egyptian ambassador in Namibia, as he thanked the efforts by the National Elections Authority, the databases that were provided by the National Elections Authority for the embassies in different parts of the world, and more specifically in Namibia, and he thanked the officials in Namibia for the safety, for the security that we have witnessed during the hours of today for the Senate elections, for the Egyptians, for the Egyptian expatriates to be going and voting safely and swiftly and going home as soon as possible. And we also have seen some statements by Ambassador Sayyid Abu Akhil as he mentioned the preparations in Uganda, in Kampala, another African country. It started from 9 a.m. The operation of the elections, and until 9 p.m. He mentioned the facilitations of the officials in Uganda for the Egyptian expatriates to be going and voting easily, and he stated that the voters voted in 6 different constituencies, 6 different governorates, according to the statements of Councillor Ahmed al-Bindari, the head of the Executive Committee of the National Elections Authority. From Tanzania, Ambassador Sharif Ismail from Dar es Salaam, he thanked Ambassador Nabil Habashi, the Deputy Foreign Minister. He thanked the National Elections Authority, and he thanked the officials in Tanzania for the safety, for the security that have been witnessed for the Egyptian expatriates going and voting in the national elections for the Senate for the upcoming round for 2025 and until 2030. And Ambassador Omar Amir from Greece, all the way to Greece from Africa to Europe, he also mentioned the facilitations by the National Elections Authority. He thanked Ambassador Nabil Habashi for the efforts witnessed and for the efforts that we have seen and they have seen in coordination between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the National Elections Authority. He also mentioned that the operation or the elections, they have started as usual at 9 a.m. The Greek local time. I think we have the same time zone between Egypt and Greece. We share the same time zone from 9 a.m. and until 9 p.m. And Ambassador Mohammed Zazour from Cyprus, from Nicosia, neighboring to Greece, he also thanked the National Elections Authority for the efforts, and he highlighted the coordination between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the National Elections Authority. He stated that Work is as usual from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. We have the same time zone as in Cairo, as I mentioned. He also highlighted the security and the safety witnessed at the voting stations in the embassy. Amal.
Yes, Nader, concerning due to the time zone, some embassies in the press conference, the head of the executive manager of the National Election Authority, the Councillor Ahmed said that 13 embassies in 9 countries have already closed due to the time zone.
Yes.
Yes, Ahmed.
Yes, Amal, that was the end or the conclusion of the press conference by Councillor Ahmed Binderi, is that 13 polling stations had already closed. I was there at the beginning from New Zealand at 12 a.m. Cairo local time. It opened in Wellington in New Zealand. That was the first embassy to be inaugurating the elections for the Senate, and he said that 13 polling stations had already closed. They had already ended the day for the elections for the Senate from, I think, 4 p.m. And we are expecting that every polling station will be closed at 7 p.m. Cairo local time. So we'll be expecting another press conference. And I think the last one will be Los Angeles in the United States of America. Hopefully there will be no violations and there will be a bigger turnout.
Yes, I thank you very much, Ahmed. Nader, Nile TV's correspondent from the headquarters of the National Election Authority in Cairo.